Michiru's crooning nasally to herself. It's not particularly pleasant to listen to, but then again, humming is one of the few forms of musical expression that exists solely for the satisfaction of the performer. Sometimes it's a natural outflowing of happiness in a moment of relaxation, but at other times, it's an attempt to calm the nerves in a moment of crushing stress. I don't know which psychological state has given rise to Michiru's song, but I do know how I can subtly manipulate her mood. Ha nyan nyan nyan. I sneak up behind Michiru and softly synchronize my voice with her song. And now I begin to gradually alter the melody, keeping every individual change small enough that she won't catch on. Ha nya nya nya. Na nya nya. Nya nya nya. Michiru spins around, flustered. Her face reveals sheer, uncomprehending bewilderment. By slowly changing my upbeat melody into a grim funeral march, I guided her own song down the same dark path. But my victim clearly doesn't realize this was my doing. Yo, something the matter?
いや、どうもしてないんだけど、明るい気持ちだったのに、すごく陰鬱な方向に引っ張られたような気がして。
Oh, that's a pity.
あんた、何もしてないわよね。
Anything? Who, me? Like what?
何もしてない。
Despite its inherently subtle nature, subliminal manipulation of this sort can dramatically influence human behavior through its effects on the subconscious. For example, I could persistently hold eye contact with Michiru as we speak. This can be mildly intimidating in its own right, but the effect increases significantly when I wait for her to blink before doing the same. By quickly opening my eyelids before her, Michiru would soon be under the illusion that I never blink. What's more, it's very rare for anyone to consciously notice that this is taking place. Instead, a nagging sense of unease grows in the back of their mind. Used enough of these tricks, an outright psychological manipulation is possible, but this time, the humming game proved sufficient for my objective of screwing with Michiru.
なんだか調子狂っちゃうわね。
Yeah, sorry about that.
なんであんたが謝るのよ。やっぱり何かしたの？
You really have to be more specific. What are you accusing me of?
それがわからないから困ってるんでしょ。とにかく許さないからね。
Michiru jabs her forefinger in my direction, her eyes smoldering with aggression. Why get so bent out of shape over something like this?
別に四角じゃないわよ。普通でしょ、普通。
True, but that's not a good thing. You know, someone once said that relationships are like a mirror.
自分の態度が相手に反映されるってこと？
Yes, that's how mirrors usually work. Your approach seems to involve repeatedly bashing your head against the glass. Planning to go to Looking Glass Land? Just so you know, Humpty Dumpty is currently sitting in a carton in my fridge.
何？どういう意味？よくわかんないんだけど。
Alright, I'll give you the short version. Michiru, you tend to treat others with all the friendliness and charm of a lollipop-sucking brat who's just been denied a new toy.
これは私の性格だから仕方ないじゃない。もう直しようがないのよ。
I suppose not.
そうよ、仕方ないのよ。あんまりそういうこと言うとローリングそばっとするわよ。
Michiru shadowboxes in my general direction while making little kapow sounds. Seems like she has no idea what a rolling sobat actually is.
素直になる訓練をするのよさ。マキナ？チルチルは確かにツンデレ。だけど素直になったらきっと可愛い女の子になると思うのよ。というわけで、
素直になる特訓をしたらいいと思うのよさ。
そんなの嫌よ。私は私でいたいの。
Training, is it? What do you have in mind?
ちょっと聞いてる？無視しないでよね。
マイナスとマイナスをかけるとプラスになるでしょ。だから素直じゃない2人をくっつければ素直になると思うのよさ。
Machina, my friend. You seem to have equated numerical multiplication with sticking people together. Are you sure the same rules apply?
それはいいの。というわけでユミちゃんとチルチルをくっつけてみればいいのよさ。
Are you planning on literally tying them to each other with rope or what? Might prove a bit tricky. I suppose gluing them together with phenolic resin is also an option.
そういうことなのよさ。ではチルチルには悪いけどちょっと気絶してもらうのよ。
Machina swiftly circles behind Michiru and delivers a sharp karate chop to the back of her neck.
あり？
ちょっと何すんの？めっちゃ痛いんだけど。
いやテレビとかだとこれで気絶するのよさ。おかしいな。
おかしいのはあんたでしょ。いきなり首の後ろをチョップしてもし気絶でもしたらどうするのよ。
いやだからそれが目的で。あ、空飛ぶ円盤。
どこに？
いや
だから何なの？
あれおかしいな。
Michiru, I'm growing curious about this Yauchi you keep mentioning. Friend of yours?
痛いってことよ。首に衝撃が走るとなぜか蛇行になるのよ。っていうかユージ、あんたマキナを止めなさいよね。
空飛ぶんで
んでげって何？
げ。やったか？
あんたいい加減にしなさいよね。
あれれれおかしいな。ねえねえ、なんでテレビみたいに気絶しないの？
That's pure fiction. You're not going to knock anyone out like that way unless you get the angle absolutely perfect. Even then, misjudge the force, and you can end up doing irreversible damage. It's not something you should try at home.
そうなのか。それはチルチルに悪いことしたのよさ。
Well, I guess I could have been quicker about telling you myself.
首の後ろがズキズキする。
そうだ、あっちの方法は？
Well, I'm sure you've heard that a blow to the abdomen can be particularly effective, but
やあ、みぞおちパンチ。うごー。
But as I said, you shouldn't attack someone's vital points for no good reason. You're running the risk of causing lasting harm.
おー、チルチル、顔が真っ青になってるのよさ。それどうやんの？
Now, Machina. It's not as though Michiru intentionally drained all color from her face. She's simply experiencing temporary breathing problems as the result of a sharp impact to her abdomen. Don't you have something to say to her?
あ、そっか。チルチル、ごめんよ。
I think she's trying to tell us something. As she isn't currently capable of speech, we should read her lips.
別に謝ってほしいわけじゃないんだからねと言ってるのよさ。
Even under violent torture, Husundere spirit remains unbroken. You must admit, the girl has guts.
ズハ
いい加減にしなさいよね。なんでグーで腹パンしてんのよ。殺す気？
そうじゃないのよさ。私はただ
ないだよね。
どうかなさいましたか？サッチン、それがね、チルチルが気絶してくれなくて困っているのよさ。気絶？後遺症が残ってもいいのであればではあるけど。
Unfortunately, we do mind. Come on, Makina. You've given her a pretty good beating already. I hardly think there's any need to render her unconscious, is there?
いやいや、気絶してロープで縛る、それが今のチルチルには必要なの。なんもかわいそうなことはないの。むしろいいことなのよさ。いいこと？なるほど、それなら気絶させなくちゃいけないね。そうなのよ、サッチン、頼むのよさ。
何よ。
後遺症はダメだから。
Sachi stares fixedly at Michiru, apparently puzzling over the best way to make her faint. Of course, Sachi's defining characteristic is her willingness to use any means necessary to achieve her ends, as Michiru is well aware.
ではここは一つバールのようなものでこじ開けてみましょう。
どこ？私のどこ？
頭です。では皆さん少々お待ちください。バールのようなものを用意させていただきますので、そうすれば激しい痛みできっと気絶するはずです。あれ、何もしていないのに気絶してしまいました。
Michiru lies collapsed on the floor, her nose twitching in terror. Seems she took it upon herself to lose consciousness before somebody violently took it from her. A prudent choice from the perspective of damage minimization. Sachi, Michiru's kindly rendered herself unconscious for us, so I think the crowbar-esque tool is no longer necessary.
はい、そうですね。では私はここで失礼させていただきます。
Before you go, I've got a quick question.
はい、何でしょうか。
When you said crowbar-esque, what were you thinking of specifically?
それは、バールです。だったらバールでいいのよさ。なんでのようなものを付け足すの？出るかなと思いまして、雰囲気が。それでは失礼いたします。
I see. A crowbar is certainly crowbar-esque.
長年の疑問は解けたけど、なんだか釈然としないのよさ。
Alright. What do we do with Michiru now that she's unconscious?
ひとまずロープで縛ってみるのよさ。ロープ。はい、銃と縄。ありがとう。縛るときに縄の表面がトゲトゲして痛くないようにちゃんと蜜蝋でなめしてあるから大丈夫だよ。それじゃあね。
That girl's ready for anything. Have to admit, I didn't expect her to have specialty BDSM ropes lying around.
サチンは用意周到すぎてたまに怖くなるのよさ。では、ぐるぐるのぐるぐる、ポリポリのポリポリ。
Well, well. This is pretty nice work. Rope bondage over the clothes has its own refined flavor. And you've got quite a respectable tortoiseshell pattern over the bust here.
きっこ？ほどけないように念入りに縛ったらたまたまこの形になったのよさ。
You produced this fine piece of work without even realizing you were doing it? You must have seen the pattern somewhere. Either way, I think you have a definite talent for this. Might be a potential career path.
そうかな、嬉しいのよさ。それじゃあユミちゃんを探してくっから待ってて。
Makina runs off somewhere, leaving me alone in the hallway with Michiru, who's tightly bound from head to foot in an intricately crisscrossed web of jute ropes. Come to think of it, I thought tying her to Sakaki was the whole point.
ちょっとあんた。
What's up, Tortoise? I thought you were supposed to be unconscious at the moment.
これびっくりするぐらい恥ずかしいですけど。
Yeah, I guess it would be. I don't think many students would have the guts to engage in tortoiseshell-style rope bondage in the hallways of their own school.
場所の問題じゃなくて、ねえこれほどいてよ。
You sure about that? Once Machina gets back, she'll just call Sachi again. That seems problematic in its own way.
そうだけど、こんな格好あんたに見られてるのも嫌なの。
So you'd like me to untie you after all?
ほどいて、早くほどいて。
Oh? You're being awfully polite and straightforward about your own feelings.
ほどいてほしいわけじゃないんだからね。だから早くほどきなさい。
Humankind's lot is a sad one. Our lives are full of paradoxes.
早くしなさいよね。
ユミちゃんいたから連れてきた。
何？どういうこと？
これはその
松島さん、そういう趣味があったの？
違うの、そうじゃないの、誤解なの。
言い訳できるような状態じゃないと思うんだけど。
本当に誤解なの。ねえ、ユージそうでしょ。あんたからも何か言ってよ。
風見くん、これもしかしてあなたがやったの？
Nope. This happens to be Machina's work. Seems she's something of an expert.
イリスさんは？
Yeah. After tormenting Michiru's body at length, Machina gave her a few final blows, then finished things off by tying her up nice and tight.
そんな趣味な上に女同士で。
違うわよ。ユージ、なんでそんな誤解を招くような言い方を。
イリスさん、それは本当なの？
何度も叩いた後に縛ってやったのよさ。
そう。その個人の趣味にとやかく言うつもりはないけど、公共の場所では遠慮してほしいわ。ここは学校でしょ。
Sakaki's got a point. I have to agree.
ユージ。
それじゃ失礼するわね。
待って、誤解だから。ねえユミコ、榊さん。マキナさん、これほどいていただけませんでしょうか。
素直になってる。すごい、私の考えは間違っていなかったのよさ。
Congratulations, Machina. You flipped her psychological switch. At long last, the true Michiru has broken free of her tsundere shell.
はい。早く縄をほどいてください。
さあチルチル、これからは素直な人生を送るのよさ。
まずユミコに説明してくる。マキナ、あんたの説教はそれからよ。榊さん、誤解なの。誤解なんだってば。
あれ、思ったより素直になってなかったのよさ。
You probably left too much slack in those ropes. Next time, tighten them up until you leave nice deep marks on her wrists. Alright? Get her rope drunk, and I'm willing to bet that she'll become a lot more obedient.
縄酔いって何？
Oh? You'll know it when you see it.
わかったのよさ。縄酔いさせる。
And thus, Machina demonstrated a brief glimpse of her hidden potential as a BDSM artist. But after Michiru's vigorous scolding, she would never again put that ability to use. I watched the promising glimmer of a rising talent slowly, quietly fade away, never to realize its true potential, but couldn't bring myself really to care. The end.
ちょっと変なこと言わないの。どういうつもりよ。
Weren't you off trying to clear your name with Sakaki?
それより先にあんたに文句があんの。何よさっきの独り言は。
Was I off base? You're planning to scold Machina, right?
するけど、その私のせいで才能の目が摘まれたみたいな表現やめてよね。
Ah, Sorry about that.
本当に最低なんだけど。
But then again, didn't it feel really good when she finally untied the ropes?
気持ちいいわけないでしょ。バカじゃないの。
Really? All that stagnant blood, laboring to circulate through your body under the pressure of the ropes, suddenly surged freely through your veins. I think that must have produced at least a slight euphoria, as a psychological response. I myself once experienced a wave of indescribable pleasure just from loosening the belts on my arms after a pressure training session.
そんなことわかんないわよ。バカ。M じゃないからね。M じゃないもん。
I didn't say you were. You're overthinking this.
今度あんたのことをしまってやる。
I see. So you're a sadist.
違う。バカ。変態。
What a hopelessly confused individual. Can't even figure out her own sexual preferences. Hey everyone, J Square John Jeremy here. Thanks for watching this video. Be sure to click on subscribe and the bell icon to ensure you're kept up to date on the channel. Until next time, so long and take care.